You're watching Central Florida On Demand, only on Bright House Networks.
Let's get this out of the garage. With those words, John Rivers took what had been a barbecue hobby and turned it into a full-fledged restaurant. Today, that restaurant, Four Rivers Smokehouse, has a cult-like following in Winter Park. Four Rivers Smokehouse is a counter-service barbecue restaurant with simple outdoor seating, yet, since its 2009 opening, it has headlines all day, every day. When John Rivers opened Four Rivers at 46 years old, the restaurateur was beginning his second career. First, he was a successful pharmaceutical distributor. The barbecue component began with an accidental phone call.
The call came in, Mr. Rivers, and she's crying. She says, I am so sorry to hear about your daughter. And immediately, what happened? What's wrong with my daughter's name is Cameron? And she says, oh, well, her tumor, her brain tumor, her terminal brain tumor. And now, I knew it wasn't Cameron, but from the time that I hung up the phone until the time that I reached my wife, Monica, 20 minutes later, I lived in her parents' shoes. So I called him up. I said, how about this? Let me host and run a fundraiser in celebration of your daughter. Put it in perspective. Right? Prior to this, we'd done little parties in our backyard for 40 people, 50 people, stuff like that. 450 people RSVP for this. My wife and I were teaching Sunday school at the time, and we just changed. Whenever a church or school or kids call up and they need money, we're going to do a fundraiser for them. We're going to give them barbecue.
The menu is huge, but the calling card is Texas-style barbecued brisket. John Rivers spent years perfecting the recipe.
This is our specialty, and there's two sides to a brisket. There's one side that is thinner and it's a lot leaner when it comes out. You see that there's not a lot of fat actually in the meat itself, okay? Versus the other side, we have a lot more marbling involved, and you can see the difference in the texture between the two meats, okay? And what we always do is ask people if they like a lean cut or if they like a little bit more of a moist cut, and give them the choice, and we educate them about the difference of the two.
The meat is made fresh every day, cooked for 18 hours at 3 different temperatures over 100% hickory wood.
We cook out of 2 smokers here. This is a 1400, which is the largest one that we have. And what you can see in here, it's a rotisserie smoker, and the smokers never shut off.
The second must-have is Four Rivers barbecue sauce, which also took a lot of tinkering to perfect. In the end, John Rivers took his cue from TV food celebrity Paula Deen and used a lot of butter, honey, and brown sugar to create a one-of-a-kind taste that's not unique to any one region of the country known for its barbecue. Behind the scenes, Four Rivers is a bustling enterprise where every element is made from scratch.
What you can see here, Brian is getting ready to make our green beans. And again, we make these fresh every single day. And it starts by rendering down the salt pork, which has a really nice pork flavor, but also adds a nice amount of salt naturally to the dish, and ham hocks. And we'll boil down the ham hocks so that the flavor renders out of it, and then we start piling on top of that the beans.
The biscuits are baked fresh throughout the day. The corn is roasted in batches, and the meats, they're all smoked every day on the premises.
When it comes out, you should be able to get it with your fingers and pull it apart just like that. Very easily.
Human interaction is part of the equation. As guests order, they chat with the servers and they're free to taste whatever catches their interest. Dessert? Really? Don't barbecue joints have only peach cobbler and sweet potato pie? What should you order at Four Rivers? Ask 50 people and get 50 answers. But be sure to try that brisket, which has a striking flavor, almost like pastrami, perhaps due to a secret herb that Rivers won't reveal. You also might want to sample the smoked jalapenos wrapped in bacon, kolache pastries with sausage inside, and pulled pork, and desserts including cupcakes, layer cakes, and one called Chocolate Awesomeness.
It's chocolate fudge cake on the bottom, and then pudding, and then the whipped cream on top with some Heath bars on it. And, these are fun.
It's tempting, right? Head on over to Four Rivers for a tray full of barbecued brisket. Then you'll understand what those lines are all about. I'm Rona Guindon, and you're watching On Dining.
To learn more about local restaurants from food and travel writer Rona Guindon, go to our website, ronaguindon.com. Also, Rona is the author of 2 food and travel books, The Little Black Book of Walt Disney World and Eat Orlando, Great Meals Wherever You Are.